Have you ever felt like you were just 3 feet away from achieving your goals, your dreams, or the life you've always wanted? Just 3 feet from gold, yet still struggling to get there? Well, my friend, you're not alone. So many of us work hard, year after year, trying to build the life we envision, only to come up short over and over again. Why does that happen? And more importantly, how can we finally cross over that metaphorical 3-foot gap to grab hold of the success that always feels just out of reach? I recently read an inspiring book titled 3 Feet from Gold that examines these very questions. It shares the story of one man who seemed to have lost everything, only to regain it all back and then some. How? Well, that's what we'll be discussing in this video as I share with you the key principles from the book that can help transform our breakdowns into breakthroughs. So buckle up, my friend. You're about to discover that the gold you've been seeking this whole time may be a lot closer than you ever imagined. The book 3 Feet from Gold by Sharon L. Lecht and Greg S. Reed tells the story of Richard Foster, who seems to have lost everything after his father's sudden death, his father's company, his income, and even his fiancée. Richard feels his world crashing down as he loses control over his life. Wallowing in self-pity, he starts working as a common laborer at a mine. One day, Richard meets a janitor named Charlie at the mine. Charlie shares his life story with Richard, telling him how he was once down on luck as well until he applied some crucial principles to turn his life around. Intrigued, Richard requests Charlie to mentor him on these principles. Charlie explains the first principle as the principle of vision. He says how having a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life and staying focused on it is crucial to materializing goals. Charlie illustrates this via a narration of miners extracting gold from just 3 feet away from a failed mine, simply because they had a focused vision and persevered. The second principle Charlie shares is the principle of action. He elucidates how taking continuous action by breaking down goals into smaller objectives is vital. Charlie shares examples of renowned personalities like Thomas Edison, who took numerous actions before succeeding. Charlie inspires Richard to apply focused action each day to inch closer to his goals. Charlie then reveals the principle of self-belief. He articulates how believing in oneself even during unfavorable conditions is critical, just like the Wright brothers did. Charlie also shares how seeking mentors that can guide one correctly is invaluable in building self-confidence. The fourth principle is coined by Charlie as the principle of persistence. Charlie convincingly explains how persistence pays rich dividends and gives examples of Abraham Lincoln and Colonel Sanders to validate this. He encourages Richard to persist doggedly if he wants to realize his ambitions. The principle of teamwork is what Charlie shares next with Richard. He wisely posits how teamwork leverages collective skill sets and augments results exponentially. Citing group efforts resulting in massive successes like NASA expeditions, Charlie inspires Richard to build his team. Charlie then expounds on the principle of acknowledgement. He sensibly advises Richard to celebrate small wins to stay motivated, just like the hot dog way, adopted by construction crews. Charlie also foregrounds graciously acknowledging others' contributions for sustained success. The seventh principle Charlie swears by is the principle of balance. Advising Richard sagely, Charlie tells how maintaining balance between professional ambitions and personal priorities results in wholesome success and happiness. Charlie thoughtfully shares examples to substantiate this principle for Richard. Charlie further enunciates the principle of leverage, whereby he encourages Richard to employ leveraged growth models that foster exponential development over conventional linear approaches. Through apt examples, Charlie convinces Richard of leverage models' escalated value propositions. The last principle conveyed by Charlie is the principle of integrity. Underscoring its vitality for sustainable success, Charlie urges Richard to honor commitments and uphold impeccable integrity while delivering on promises. He stirringly reminds that lasting success relies on steadfast integrity above all else. Majorly transformed by Charlie's mentoring, Richard resolves to apply all these principles to turn around his life. He thoroughly plans short and long-term goals accordingly. Leveraging them sequentially over the next year, he is able to resurrect his father's company to even greater heights. He also rekindles relations with his fiancée Margaret, who is pleasantly astonished at Richard's phenomenal comeback. A deeply satisfied Charlie believes his purpose is served as he embraces retirement, leaving the mining quarters for good. Richard is now focused to build upon this regained success with Charlie's principles etched deeply. In a thoughtful gesture, Richard names his first son after Charlie to honor the life-changing guidance he gained from the unassuming janitor. Charlie's principles of vision, action, self-belief, persistence, teamwork, acknowledgement, balance, leverage, and integrity continue to inspire Richard throughout his life as he scales new peaks in business and beyond. The compelling book concludes by profoundly emphasizing how applying such universal principles can help unlock any situation or potential, just like it transformed Richard's life wholly by turning an apparent breakdown into an unforeseen breakthrough.